I want to ask you a question. When is the last time that you noticed good design? Not amazing design, not a logo redesign that started a fight over the internet, not flashy packaging or a beautiful poster. I mean ordinary, good, everyday design. The kind of design that helps you quietly get through your day. A sign that effortlessly guided you through an airport. A website that helped you find exactly what you needed in seconds. A package that opened so easy. An app that made sense the first time you used it. Chances are that you don't remember, but I bet you could remember bad design. You probably remember that parking garage where the signs made no sense. The QR code menu that wouldn't load. The website that made you click through 6 pages just to find a phone number. Or the package that was designed by someone who absolutely hates human hands. Bad design is memorable. And good design is invisible. And I think that's created a strange problem. Graphic design has kind of become a victim of its own success. One of the biggest misconceptions that people have about graphic design, which I talk about all the time, is that it's simply about making something look good. Now, don't get me wrong, I also talk about how aesthetics matter, but design at its very core has always been about communication. It's about helping people understand information, helping people make decisions, helping someone navigate a space, helping people accomplish goals. The funny thing is when designers do this well, people don't even notice what we did. Think about just how much design you interact with before lunch, the packaging on your breakfast, the labels on products at the grocery store, the signs on the road, the interface on your phone, the layout of a website, the menu at a restaurant, or even your boarding pass at an airport, the map in a shopping mall. Design is everywhere. In fact, it's so integrated in modern life that people stop seeing it altogether. We live inside design the same way a fish lives in water. It's all around us, but it's become so normal. And when something is normal, people stop paying attention to it. Here's the weird part. The better a design works, the less credit it gets. Think about a door. If a door communicates whether to push or pull, no one celebrates it. No one walks through a door and says, "Wow, whoever designed that door did an incredible job." You just kind of use it. Your brain moves on. But if a door is confusing, if everyone pushes when they should pull, then people start noticing it. Suddenly, everyone has opinions. Us designers, we actually have a saying about this. If users succeed, they think that they did it themselves. And if users fail, then they blame design. And honestly, they're usually right. Good design removes friction, and bad design, it creates friction. The problem is that friction is noticeable where the absence of friction is not, which means that good design often gets mistaken for no design at all. And this is something I've thought about a lot. I think that most people don't know what designers do. And I don't necessarily blame them, because so much of our work disappears into that final experience. People see a logo, they see the website, they see the packaging. But what they don't see is the hundreds of decisions that went on underneath. The hierarchy, the typography, the information architecture, the testing, the organization, the user journey, the accessibility considerations, the problem solving that went on under the hood. When a website feels intuitive, they often think that it's easy to make. When a sign is easy to understand, they assume it's obvious. When a package communicates exactly what it has, people think that happened naturally. But none of those things happen naturally. Somebody sat there and made those decisions. Someone spent time thinking about the user. Someone anticipated problems before they even occurred. Good design often hides the effort that created it. The ironic thing is that the more successful a design is, the more invisible the designer becomes. I think another reason that good design becomes invisible is because the baseline is much higher. We've become spoiled, and I mean that in the nicest way possible. Think about websites from 20 years ago. Many were confusing or ugly. Many felt experimental. And today, even average websites are usually functional. Most apps follow established patterns. Most packaging follows conventions that people already understand. Most branding systems are reasonably competent. Good design practices have become standard. And that's a huge win for us designers. But it also means that people have come to expect usability. They kind of just assume that things should work. So when things work, no one talks about it. And when things fail, everyone talks about it. It's similar to electricity. No one sits there appreciating that the lights turn on, but the moment that power goes out, that's all anyone could talk about. And design works the same way. This is where things get a little strange, because on one hand, we talk about design more than ever. Design content is everywhere. Logo redesign debates, branding breakdowns, UI critiques, creative influencers, portfolio showcases. There's even design podcasts, design YouTube channels. People see more design content than ever before. But at the same time, most of these conversations talk about the visual outcome. We discuss aesthetics, we discuss trends, we discuss whether a logo looks good. But what often gets overlooked is the invisible work underneath. The structure, the systems, the clarity, the functionality, the things that actually make it work. And as a result, people associate design more with appearance, when in reality, some of the most impressive design work isn't visual at all. It's organizational, it's strategic, it's informational, it's invisible. And the funny thing about all of this is bad design is probably the best advertisement for good design. Because the moment that something breaks, we finally realize that good design exists. You notice when you're lost in a hospital because the wayfinding system sucks. You notice when you're trying to order food and the QR menu refuses to load. You notice when it feels impossible to check out online. You notice when a product package hides important information. You notice when instructions make absolutely no sense at all. These moments are frustrating, but they're also educational. The reveal, invisible work often protects us from confusion. Every bad experience is a reminder that design isn't just decoration. Design is infrastructure. It is part of how society functions. When it works, we move smoothly throughout our day. And when it fails, everything slows down. So let's go back to the original question. Has graphic design become a victim of its own success? Maybe. In a way, design has become so integrated in our society that people only notice it when something goes wrong. The better that designers get at creating experiences, the less obvious their contributions appear. The more successful design becomes, the more invisible it becomes. But I've never really thought that's a bad thing, because, at least for me, the goal was never to design to get noticed. I started designing to help people, to communicate clearly, to remove confusion, to make everyday life a little easier. And if people move through the day without even noticing the design, I feel like my work was successful. The next time that you effortlessly navigate an airport, find information on a website, open a package, or use an app without even thinking about it, I want you to remember something. That experience didn't happen on accident. Somewhere out there, there's a designer that made hundreds of decisions to make it feel simple. The reason that good design is harder to notice isn't because it disappeared. It became part of our everyday life. It's woven into systems, products, signs, screens, experiences that we rely on every single day. And maybe the greatest compliment that us as designers could ever receive is when no one even notices it. Okay guys, that's all I have for you today. I really hope you enjoyed this video. This is a topic I love talking about. And if you did, go ahead and give this video a like, subscribe for more videos just like this, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye!